Hey guys, welcome back. I thought tonight we'd take a little dive into the back issue box. Just a continuation of some of the last videos, just showing some stuff that I've accumulated over the last few months or year that I haven't really got to show. Uh, this first stack is just going to be Bronze Age. I think maybe all except for one is DC stuff. There's some stuff that I was trying to fill in on some runs, and the other stuff is upgrades of stuff I already had. But I'll just get right into it here. Uh, got some Weird War Tales, number 15. It's a really cool cover, and you can't beat anything. It's got a 20-cent cover, right? Very cool. More Weird War, number 65, with great Joe Kubert cover. Number 62, more Joe Kubert. So this was probably around 77, 78 right there. Issue of Wonder Woman from the Bronze Age, number 239. I'm not really a hardcore Wonder Woman collector. Just depends on the storyline and some of the artists, and of course Golden Age Flash is one of my favorite characters, so I had to pick up the storyline with him in it. So pretty nice cover on that one. And I'm not sure how many of you are aware, or those of you that collected Wonder Woman are pretty aware of it, I'm sure. But there was a time where they were actually featuring the Earth 2 Wonder Woman, or the Golden Age Wonder Woman, in several issues. And I'm not sure if that had anything to do with, probably not, but I kept thinking it might have had something to do with the way they were doing the TV series at the time, because I think it started out like as the Wonder Woman in the Golden Age or the 1940s, and then later on it was kind of an updated version from the 70s. So, but I think they kind of switched back and forth, or maybe just had one run where it just featured like the Golden Age Wonder Woman. So I always thought that was pretty neat. Okay, here's another Wonder Woman. I got this just because of the cover. This is a Dr. Von Chilla special here, Gil Kane. And I think he draws a pretty great Wonder Woman, don't you? Very cool. I'm not sure if this is an upgrade or not, and I'm not sure. Like I say, some of this stuff was bought months ago, and either it was probably a good deal, or I saw something that was a little bit better grade than the one I had. And this one's a pretty decent book, probably a fine. But Kamandi number 10. And this was a Batman family that I did not have. It's probably a mid-grade, probably a VG fine. Got a great Jim Aparo cover. Batman family number 14. There's a missing Phantom Stranger I didn't have. Number 5. Great Neal Adams cover. And everybody knows what this book means to me. For some reason, I picked up another copy. I don't know how many copies of this I have, but it's one of those obsession books. So, The Eater. Just love this comic. I probably gifted that to a couple people over the years. Another missing Phantom Stranger issue, co-starring Deadman. I think, yeah, that's a Jim Aparo cover, if I'm correct. Looks like it anyway. Like I say, some of these were upgrades. This was always one of my favorite books, favorite stories. It's got a great cover. Superboy and the Legion, number 239. It's got a great Mike Grell cover, and the story is one of my favorites. It's called Murder Most Foul. Somebody was trying to frame Ultra Boy for murder. Some of Jim Starlin's best DC work, I think. One of my favorite stories. I think Joe Rubinstein might have inked him on that one. But that's a really nice copy. I'd probably call that one maybe a 9.2. It's not better. Got a little tanning on the top, but no big deal. Here's a great Joe Kubert book. Our Fighting Forces 138. It's probably an 8.0. Just love Joe Kubert covers. Okay, and upgraded one of my 100 pagers. These are really hard to find in high grade just because of the way the spine is. There's still probably maybe one little tick on the binding on this one, but this was actually the first issue of Action Comics that I remember buying, or my folks bought me, I think. Number 443. Got a great story featuring the Justice League, Kurt Swan and on the art. It's got some. I think this was probably my first exposure to the Sea Devils. I think there's a cool Sea Devils story in this with Russ Heath art. I think there's a Hawkman story with some Murphy Anderson art, Adam Strange, by Carmen Infantino. If I remember right, anyway. This was always one of my favorite comics as a kid, and still is. Just love it. Okay, and I upgraded some of my DC specials. These are mostly the square-bound issues. My originals were pretty ratty shape, and I just kind of wanted to upgrade some of these. Here's number 19, The War Against the Giants. Got an Ernie Chan cover. Some great reprints. Of course, got some Gil Kane Green Lantern. Probably got some 1960s sci-fi from Strange Adventures or Mystery in Space. Got a cool Superman reprint, a Wonder Woman reprint. These are some of my favorites. These Green Lantern reprints. DC Special number 17. Great Mike Grell cover. And all Gil Kane Green Lantern on the inside. DC Special number 18 with some more great reprints. Earth-Shaking Stories. Got a great Captain Marvel reprint. Flash and Green Lantern versus Major Disaster. And, the binding looks really good on this one. You see there, it's hard to find them that kind of shape. But some of my favorites as a kid. And like I said before, a lot of the history of DC I kind of discovered through a lot of those reprints. So it's a great resource. Another great cover, DC Special number 20. Another nice Mike Grell. I think this is around the time that he actually took over the Green Lantern title as far as being the artist. So I think he was doing some other covers for DC at the time. More great stories from the Silver Age. And we got the Three Musketeers, DC Special number 22. I'm not sure if these are reprints or not, to be honest with you. Got a great Luis Dominguez cover. Here's another favorite Justice League issue. It's when Firestorm joined the JLA, number 179. This is an upgrade. This is actually from it's a Pennsylvania Dutch copy. And this is a 9.4. Justice League 179 with a great Jim Starlin cover. This is another upgrade, probably one of my all-time favorite Swamp Thing stories. Swamp Thing number 50. It's got the story where Swamp Thing has to travel through hell to find to rescue Abigail Arcane. And of course, you know what makes this great. It's got like all the supernatural characters. It's got the Demon and the Spectre, Phantom Stranger, Dead Man, Dr. Fate. Of course, you know, can't beat Alan Moore and Stephen Bissett and Rick Veitch and John Tolman. It's a great story. Okay, it has a missing issue from my Frank Miller Daredevil run. Daredevil number 185. Great cover. DC Superstars number 10. This came in a lot. I upgraded my run of Strange Sports Stories, and this was in the lot with them. It's a pretty decent copy. It's probably a fine plus or fine minus VG plus. Strange Sports Stories, heroes versus the villains in a baseball game. Another one of my favorite stories as a kid. Actually drawn by Dick Dillon, who did the JLA in the 70s. And this is my upgraded run of Strange Sports Stories. I already had this, but I found a really good deal. And there's several of my other issues that were kind of beat up. But Strange Sports Stories number 1. I think most of these are Nick Cardy covers. Really nice high grade. I think all of these are new stories, or new at that time. There's number 1. Number 2. 3. Number 6. Great Nick Cardy cover. I remember seeing this advertised in some of the other comics. It's number 5. Number 4. And I think one of the last videos I showed the rest of this series, but this is number 1 of the 4-issue miniseries, 6 from Sirius by Doug Moench and Paul Gulacy from the Epic comic line of Marvel. Here's some more Justice League upgrades. Some of my favorite George Perez covers. Number 207, first part of the JLA, JSA All-Star Squadron crossover. Got a great Justice League versus the Crime Syndicate cover going on there. One of my favorite stories from the JLA. Okay. This must have, I'm not really sure where this came from because it's not a high grade. It's got some, got a chip out of the cover. But, you know, this period of JLA, and my buddy Eric K., I'm sure he'll recognize this one. Number 129. I think this, another great Ernie Chan cover. I think this is probably the second or third time that Red Tornado died. But I love this story. Yes, this is a reader copy. I must have got a good deal on it, or it was thrown in with another lot or something. So, okay, I'm probably running out of time here. So, okay, here's another, probably one of my favorite George Perez Justice League cover, and probably one of my favorite stories at that time, Justice League 195. This is another Pennsylvania Dutch copy. This is a 9.4. Really nice. Okay, see how much time we got here.